5-year future. So before we touch on the future stuff, kind of like what are TACPs and what do they do?
So I think the biggest thing for people to understand TACP is like we're aligned to Army forces, and we're stationed on Army posts for the majority of the units right now, and we are the liaison to the Army when it comes to the Staggs model. So we're providing that that advise and assist to that ground commander at whatever echelon we're assigned to be so he can integrate close air support into the fire maneuvers of the conventional Army on the ground. I say conventional because that's where majority of our guys are at. So you think of striker brigades and armor brigades and even light infantry and airborne units. Like those are the guys that we're assigned to and we work with, and trying to not only help that ground party understand what close air support can provide for them, but also synchronize those fires with the Army organic fires as well. And that starts with mission planning. That starts with going to JRTCs and NTCs and integrating into that force model so that we become them, and we build that credibility with them when it comes to our expertise in that area, and it makes it easier then to when you are on the battlefield with them, they have a lot more trust in you because they've seen you in action, they understand you, they know you by name. And even with the integration with that, what has allowed us over the years is, you used to back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I'm talking about guys who did it prior to me doing it. But you deployed with your aligned unit. You went to exercises with your aligned unit and things like that. So the relationships were a lot stronger. But what we've seen in the models over the last few years, and this will transition into what the future looks like, is with those guys who are attached and aligned at those lower levels and building those relationships. It transcends. It's just not X guy who has built this relationship up. It is the TACP name itself that is building its credibility through that. So I think I've only deployed once with my aligned unit over my 13 years. The rest of the time has been with people I didn't know, but I showed up. They seen the TACP patch or the JTAC patch on my shoulder, and they already knew based on the relationships they had prior that this is the guy that we need to go to and talk to about integration of fires and close air support. So that is the TACP. Now we do have the soft side and guys on the soft side that run with different elements with the Rangers and some of the guys at the STSs that work with the ODA teams and stuff like that. And they do the same thing. They just do it with a different entity than the conventional side. So that is a TACP in a nutshell.
Well, I think you talked about something there that I don't think I fully understood about TACP really until we started doing this podcast. Is there's more to it than just when I think of JTAC, I think dude looking at plane, dropping bombs. You know what I mean? Like that, the months and years of coordination and planning and building relationships before that bomb ever strikes the target is what you guys do. You guys are the liaisons for the entire Air Force to the Army, as far as if I'm tracking right, and it takes a lot of work.
It does, and you're absolutely right. That liaison piece is big because, like I said before, it builds credibility for the organization, not only just as the community of TACP, but also as the Air Force in whole. It builds that credibility for the Army. It also, in that, it is gets the Army the understanding of what the Air Force can provide. And when I say that, it's being an honest broker to the Army. Yeah, the Air Force can provide this, but also if you look at it, we're limited at this. I think there's a conversation I had one time when I deployed as a JTAC weapons officer downrange and was working with some entities across the airfield. the conversation comes up, why is the aircraft not taking off? And I was like, well, because of the weather. And they're like, well, it's an all weather platform. It's like, well, yes, in some instances it is, but they got to be able to take off first. And visibility's low, they can't take off, blah blah blah. And it was building that understanding of the limitations of the aircraft, and they would get upset because some ISR platform couldn't take off from another airfield because of icing, and it's like, well, won't they just de-ice it? It's like, well, that's fine, they can de-ice it now, but then when it gets up and it ices over again, it's just going to come out of the sky. Like, there's limitations that they don't understand, and being that I'm going to be the person they come to about it when things ain't flying, they're going to come to the TACP. So understanding that, and then being able to present it in a way that they can get a better understanding of the limitations is important as the capabilities that they bring to enhance the fight as well.
It sounds silly.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry, Trent. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it, Trent.
No, I mean, it's one of those. It's one of those things. Is you kind of have to build that relationship, and then you kind of have to sit them through the process, and then at a certain point, I'm sure sometimes you got to be like, well, you guys also have weapons, right? Because I think sometimes the tendency is to be like, anytime anything happens, JTAC, do something, and it's like, what are you guys here to do then?
Yeah, that's important. It's so yeah, and that's been, I think a little problem of the last 20 some years of fighting that we've done is we put a presence out on the battlefield, and then when things get a little hairy, we immediately call CAS. Let's get some CAS on station. Let's drop some bombs, and I think proportionality has fell out of the toolbox, because I don't think we proportionize the target to the weapon pairing very well either. But that comes though with, it's what we know and it's what we're comfortable with. And I think General Brown says it well, Chief Staff of the Air Force. He says we got to have these uncomfortable conversations, and I think it's hard right now for us to have those conversations because we haven't had them in the last 20 years, because we just threw everything we could at a very small problem with a big answer. And I think that's really where these uncomfortable conversations that we have are really extremely uncomfortable, because we haven't had them.
No, we definitely have to have uncomfortable conversations for sure. And a lot of people, outside don't really understand that. And I hate for that said. A lot of people still in right now don't understand that. It's just unfortunate. And I really stung a little bit, not stinging my pride, but man, I've had that same conversation with some senior leaders. Like, do we really need to sling, 3 or 4 munitions at this one guy? Like, is he that bad? Or it's not that he's that bad. It's just like, we could probably kill this guy with a lot cheaper things, but whatever. That's a whole nother topic
Yeah.
in front of Congress and all that kind of stuff. But